Hey guys, this is the Doxomedon, aka Vince Hill, aka Vino, like the wine, Vino. My grandmother was an Italian gal, and I got that name when I was a kid growing up. My handle out here in the internet, in the universe, is the Doxomedon. A little bit about me. I enrolled in 1984 in a computer programming operations program at Minnesota School of Business. In those days, in the early days of programming, the language was very simple to understand. The language, for example, if A is equal or less than B, then C is the next computation. Or if A is equal or more than B, then D was the next computation. The computer language was not like it is today, where with the artificial intelligence built in as we have in the games today in your Xbox or your PS3 system, where the players and characters actually think or appear to be thinking. Programmers were so much in demand that the school actually would place graduates into a job after the completion of the course, and I went on more than one visit to potential employers, since the big houses, the banks, and the insurance companies were standing in line at the door of the school to hire its graduates. Matter of fact, I was so good at programming in the RPG2 code that I was the #1 ranked student in the class. I didn't even know until my grandma came up to me and kissed me after the graduation ceremony and said, "Boy, you was the best one in the class." Since it was a certification course, I wasn't singled out as the valedictorian. So I wasn't asked or required to address the attendees. But yep, I was right there at the top of the program. I was like, "Oh, right on, Grandma. Thank you." This is the kicker. The programming industry was moving so fast at that time. By the time I completed the 10-month course, the RPG2 course, that particular language in programming was obsolete. And when I say obsolete, I mean obsolete. There wasn't even one company that was still hanging on and using the RPG2 code, where I could have grabbed onto a programmer position. The code that was being used was COBOL. The course was only 10 months. That's how fast the industry was moving. This was in 1984, so uh, the, the 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 technology, just the 10-month course, the language that I learned was not even being used at that time. Just in a 10-month span of time. The reason that is significant is because now here I am doing the 2K thing. And I found the same thing to be true. Technology leaps forward nowadays, whereby people won't buy anything because they're always waiting for the next gadget to come out a week later, and rightfully so. So forget about 10 months. How many times have you bought a gadget these days only to find that before you can read all the specs and sync up your new digs, does the commercial come over the telephone or the television with a product that's far and away better than the one you've just bought? Heck, when the Madden and the NBA Xbox games come out on new release dates every year, at first my son and I would, be pretty wowed about how much the game had improved and be so impressed. We would look at each other and say, how could they possibly make this better? However, we got to the point where we stopped marveling and started to feel confident that the next release wouldn't disappoint, and would look forward, with great anticipation on how the game was going to look. So here's the rub. Now that we have moved into the out of the industrial age, and which is evident by the empty shipyards, we're set firmly in the information age. It is important and necessary to integrate the information age, or the internet, with your marketing. If anyone wants to move their business forward, whether it's a big house in the Fortune 500 or a small business shop owner, And if you own a business from home, well, you're dead without being able to harness information with the internet technology. Okay, that's just you can't get around it. That is what the RPG2 program is based on. What is cutting edge so that you won't be left on the wrong side of the fork in the road or left behind in your small business venture. And let's not use the word small, since no home-based business is small. It's only that it's being run by a small group of people, most of the time just you, and then part-time. So there's no small business in my book. Uh, if you're like me, or well, everyone's reason for starting a business is to improve the life and lifestyles for themselves, and more importantly, for their loved one. Now, when I got involved in online marketing and got my own business here and hated work and my boss and no vacation and all that. I didn't hate my boss, but I mean, just the corporate thing, the whole setup. He's getting $500 and I'm getting $10. Uh, uh, I came from a industry where the products sold themselves. My brother and I reinstituted the house call in California, and we basically would go to board and care facilities and do ear, nose, and throat exams bedside, where the facility wouldn't have to make arrangements to actually move the whole population from the board and care facility over to the clinic. We would come to the board and care with a specialist and with the medical staff and actually perform a non-intrusive exam and check for the hearing and clean the ears right there. So we were the first ones to do that. We were the cutting edge. So that's where my thinking is coming from. When I jumped into my own business, the online marketing network marketer thing, and we'll talk about why it's really cool to be online and be in your own business. We'll talk about that in more detail in another video. However, for right now, the attraction marketing thing. So my product or service was unique, and so it sold itself. So when I got online, I got into silver and gold. I understood that the dollar is not a way to store your wealth. So I looked for a gold and silver company to actually convert my dollars into silver and gold. And I was so strong on that, I felt like, hey, everybody should be doing it. So I felt it was a good company for me to join. However, what I very soon came to realize was the fact that there's a whole psychology in marketing. It's not just about having a good product and being able to, and that the product sells itself. There's a whole psychology out here in attraction marketing. So with that in mind, so I started my own business from home, and I did what everyone else does. I asked myself, will the service or product I offer improve the lives of others? Yes. Do I believe in the product or service? Yes. Check, double check. So now I have to market my business. And when I say market, I don't mean telling all of your family and friends. How did that work for you? If your family and friends are not dodging you, or the subject of your business, or you haven't ruined the relationships you had altogether, well then you're better off than me, and consider yourself fortunate. Since I went through that, I'm here now to take you by the hand and walk you through the process of the online marketing thing and how to draw people to your business and convert and all that stuff. Well, you have to take a long look at yourself, because after I took a real long and honest look at myself, I realized I'm not a closer. However, what I'm really good at is taking all of the training material and information and teaching others how to market with clarity. It's kind of how, while there are many successful songwriters or rap artists that can write down some serious knowledge with the lingo, it's the singers and performers that best have the ability to deliver the song or lyrics that separates the writers from the performers on stage and one entertainer from another. You can take the same lyrics, even by the person who composed the score, and give it to different performers, and the performer or entertainer who can best deliver the song will end up being the one on stage. I'm like a teacher or professor that's getting on by a meager existence, but the students I've taught have gone on to huge dollars in success. If you're interested in taking the RPG2 marketing training, here's what you have to do. You have to watch the free video. I will direct you to my blog when this video is over, and you can watch that video. You're going to need to join me in Empower Network. That's the system, the blogging system, the marketing system that I use. And by the by, it's not just about, it's so powerful that not only will you draw people to your business, but the blog itself is monetized, and it's really cool. If you don't own a business, well, you don't need to. It's not about selling anything. You are providing information. That's all you're doing. I'll train you to train others. And actually, it'll be fun. I mean, look at me. I'm on the video. I'm actually in my PJs here. Got Newt's up there right now, but I had the Sports Center on. So here's my special 30-day trial offer. When you take my program, the RPG2 course, if you have not made your $25 is all it costs to join me and join the Empower Network, I will refund you your money to you, no questions asked, NSA. Here's hoping all that you believe will be done unto you. And I'll see you on the other side.